style, bro. I can't
Yeah,
imagine
holy
going
shit.
back.
Robert, your audio and
great.
your video is not even close to being synced on mine, on my screen.
I hear you.
Really?
Yeah. All right, we figured it out, people. I figured it out.
Oh, it is kind of desynced. Weirdly.
Next year.
It is.
That's fine. As long as I can see you and hear you, then it doesn't matter.
Is he desynced on your end?
Yeah.
Okay, let's make sure it wasn't just
mine
mine.
too.
Robert, the damn
It
PC.
is-
Yeah, it's way off, dude.
It shows really because for me at least on my screen it shows good, but
Snap your
It's kind of
fingers.
running in slow motion a little bit.
Yeah, snap your fingers.
Well,
Is
yeah.
that just random?
Oh.
Or is that some-
Damn.
It's like a solid second. Close Discord
really
and
off.
open it back up.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
All right.
Well, look in the stream though. Let's see.
Yeah, let me go check this.
Sorry, guys. Fucking YouTube Studio, the beta thing ended, so I can't use the classic unless I want to just recreate a brand new one from scratch. So figured it out. Got the stream key change. We're good. Now we're just dealing with Robert's got a massive delay. Clock that's having issues, so it's just a fucked up day.
It's a good
It's all fucked up.
Wait, what about the stream itself though? Maybe it's not synced on the stream itself.
It is because it's on my screen, and my screen is copying. Just it's the stream's copying my screen. Just close Discord and open back up. Try it. We'll go through the.
Yeah, I'll go.
We're late, so we're gonna be quick with the recaps of what you've been playing the past week. Mine's simple. I played Rocket League for 6 out of the 7 days, and that's it. So, just trying to get my skills back up, going all in. So, what about you, Terrell?
Finished Final Fantasy 7. Did I play anything else? I think it was just that. I think I streamed like 5 hours on Friday and then another 3 hours on Saturday. So that game is done. I beat it. Woo.
The real version.
Yeah, the real version, not the remake.
Apparently
So now I have a poll out for what I'm streaming next. and Ori is on the poll.
Yeah, but it's gonna be the stupid SpongeBob.
Hey,
I
listen,
voted for the stupid SpongeBob because I still want to play Ori. I don't want to watch him stream
You
it,
bought
but
it?
I'm watching SpongeBob shit.
He'll watch me play SpongeBob because he has no interest in it. That's great.
No, I legit do have interest in a platformer, but I mean, it's not the same, I guess.
I guess.
I want to watch his disappointment with the game. That's what I'm tuning in for.
Juice away. I don't like Juice because Juice on that like dark shit. Like I want to see you. I want to see you suffer, bitch. Like.
Is it fine?
Try.
Say something.
Yeah, it's better.
It's perfect.
You knew something was wrong though when you had to select your mic again. You had to reselect a different mic.
Oh,
That's
maybe.
right,
Yeah,
what it
maybe.
was.
Yeah, maybe.
So all right, we're back. All right. So Robert, what have you been gaming on, man? What have you been
All right.
playing? Resident Evil 3, Nemesis?
No, it's just a game that my last pickup. But no, Resident Evil 3 for the GameCube. Well, I played a little bit. I played the tiniest bit just to see if it worked, obviously. I mean, I got the GameCube version. I don't know if that's the best version. I looked it up, and a lot of people said GameCube. Oh, GameCube.
You probably could have got the
Alright, I
PS4
guess-
physical.
Oh, wait, you talking about as in?
I think they
not the remake?
re-released. I think they re-released all the old Resident Evil's physical on PS4.
Did they? I thought it was digital.
I don't know.
I've seen a
thought it
bunch
was- I
at
thought it
Best
was-
Buy
I think
before.
That's right, but I don't know. 'Cause
But
I
either
remember
way.
looking up, it usually pops up.
Dang.
But yeah, I actually was this the last week? I guess maybe not. I don't know. But I beat Ring Fit Adventure finally.
Woo.
That shit was crazy, dude. I can't believe that. No joke. That is literally the longest game I've ever played. It took about 70 hours. Again, you know, like that's longer than Xenoblade Chronicles 2 that I played.
Yeah, but that's only because you play Ring Fit and you're forced on this fucking trajectory, and in Xenoblade you like ignore everything that is the game and you just run through.
I
the
thought you had
fucking
more
wall.
hours in Breath of
That's
the Wild.
not true, yo. That's not true. There's actually that's not true because there's a ton of side content in Ring Fit that apparently each world I've only played about like 45 to 50 to 60% of each world. But the thing is, there's like 24 worlds, and even after that, there's 24 more worlds that you can do. I'm like, oh my god, Jesus Christ! I mean, they weren't kidding when they were putting content and marketing at 80. To be fair, there's a lot of content there.
Well, you
And
said
then,
there's a lot of
also,
content in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon, and I was looking at people
but
play it.
I
There
know,
wasn't.
I know, but I think Ring Fit's a lot of fun. It really is. It's super creative the way they do it. The music is so damn good. The characters are awesome. I love Drago. I want him in Smash. If
I
anyone
think there's
wanted
probably a
Smash, I want.
chance of a Ring Fit character.
Yeah, I think so, but I think they're gonna pick the trainer, and
I
that's
like.
not nearly as good as the actual Drago, this
She
fucking
will be
Jack
the
Dragon.
official rival. She will be the official rival Wii Fit trainer.
Close to week.
But everyone always compares to Wii Fit. This is an actual fucking adventure, dude. This shit is a whole damn game, and it's so good. And to me, it's like it's an RPG that happens to work when you work. You have to actually move the game, and it's so fantastic. And then also I finished Pokemon Sword. Finally, my first Pokemon game I actually
Oh,
finished.
really?
It didn't take you 70
Yeah.
hours.
No, that didn't
No?
take me 70 hours. I think it was just under 20. It was like 1950 something. That's what I remember
figured.
seeing.
That's what I
And
figured.
and then I tell you what, like that ending was pretty damn epic though. It was pretty
All
neck
right.
and neck,
All right.
I gotta say.
Yeah.
Especially the whole like it's like this whole like mystical thing that goes on. That shit was pretty cool, man. I gotta say that shit was pretty fucking cool. You know what I'm talking? Obviously, Terrell knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you're
spoilers whatsoever, but pretty damn cool. Not gonna lie. And I also, I played this one game called Kill It With Fire. They got a review code for that. And I beat it, and it was really surprisingly also really good. Where it was like one that I was eyeing because it's one of those things up my alley, like one of those, it was 3 hours. You play it and you just have some good fun with it. And then I was also now I'm trying to get back into. I still haven't beaten Star Wars Fallen Jedi. I'm pretty close.
Really?
to
Damn, I
finishing it.
thought you finished that.
I know.
It's on the backlog now. Fuck.
No, it's not on the backlog.
I thought it was
it's
good.
not on the backlog.
Do you still think it's
I only
good, or
consider
what's
things-
holding it up? What's holding you up?
I only consider no, it was actually it's really it's just one of those games where just kind of other games came out, slipped by me, but I will be beating it pretty damn soon. I think soon I'd say. And then I've been playing another game, but I can't say that game because that's for the backlog, and that's a mystery game, but it's been pretty intense, that one.
And
Yeah.
Clock is still having technical issues. His mic's showing muted. I don't know if he knows that. He can't hear us. He says can't hear us. We can't hear him. These.
Might be going deaf.
So
It's
T,
all ages.
Ms. T, you play any games in the last week?
He's getting 3 games over there. That's what he's getting.
Anything
like Mario
brightening
Sunshine,
your
it
day?
is.
Yeah, I played for 5 minutes. I played it for a good
Yeah.
Yeah. It reminds me how much jank is in that game. Anyway, yeah, I've been playing mostly Paper Mario. I'm in it now, so I'm probably gonna finish it maybe this week even. So, and obviously I've been playing retro stuff, GameCube, not retro stuff like in bad games, but
Not retro death stuff.
Yeah, just old stuff. Not bad old stuff.
he likes that game. So
This dude is like, I watched him stream like a little bit of the thing of like Super Mario Sunshine because it was really late and shit. He's like playing it and he's like pretending to complain about everything. He's all happy singing with the music and shit. You can try to pretend to hate it, and you enjoy when you're singing the music and shit.
I didn't say the music was bad.
Yeah,
So,
the music.
I did see that part where he was standing on an invisible wall, on like the invisible part of the ship, and it was like, oh, yeah, this game wasn't finished.
The game. Standing up, just over what was on the submarine or whatever.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
just
on the submarine.
in the air, just chilling.
He's like, look at this shit. Oh,
All right, retro.
No, that was a rough job, man.
I've been playing the same shit like last week, so I won't go too much into it. Animal Crossing, Fall Guys, and
I
Control.
forgot about those.
But I did pick up Super Mario Maker again, Super Mario Maker 2, and I kind of started doing some of that online shit and losing because of the incredible, beautiful lag. It's like, it's like
Still not
you're in first
fixed.
place. I'm like, dude, I just need to jump to like a block above another block, and you can't because you have to like calculate like 15 seconds of delay in your button input. I'm a fucking robot, and I can do that shit on the spot. It's like I don't understand why Nintendo just dropped supporting it, but I'm having fun with it. When there's no lag or anything, it's like a lot of fun. So I just picked that up again. Apart from that, nothing really new.
So they didn't smooth out the lag after all this time.
Yeah, man. But it's mostly because, sometimes you have like this lag with 4 players and then one person drops out and it's like buttery smooth. You still have this fucking bitches just playing that shit like handheld and stuff. That's why you get that lag. And at least it's okay if people want to do that. But Nintendo, at the very least, like the basic shit in an online game is that I can decide who I want to play with. And I should be able to gauge who I want to play with based on that connection quality, and you just fucking can't.
Well, the problem's twofold. One, there's no Ethernet port on the Switch. Two, they put one of the weakest Wi-Fi mic or antennas in the Switch. It's just like everybody. I watched the teardown, the guys that fix systems. I watched a couple guys, and then even I think Digital Foundry talked about it at least 2 different occasions. I don't remember the specific videos where they're just like, yeah, this is a very low quality Wi-Fi. I don't know what, if you check, Robert, I bet if you did a speed test with your Switch with your awesome internet, you'd be at 50 maybe. Download speed, yeah, it's pathetic. Because I have 200. I did have like 230, and when I do my test, the highest I think I ever seen was like 30 or 40.
Because I have mine with a LAN. My shit is wired because I bought the official Nintendo LAN adapter back for the Wii, I think it was, because the Wii didn't have it either. And it just fit on the Switch, and then you can connect that way. So it's not like people can do it. And if you don't want to do it, whatever, you want to be like a playing handheld in bed, fucking Super Mario Maker like versus, okay, but at least let me choose so that I can block you or whatever.
Yeah, don't play with anybody in handhelds or anybody on Wi-Fi. Specifically play with LAN people who have the LAN adapter, something, a wired connection. Be a nice option, but they don't think of that stuff. That's just beyond them.
Either way, it's fun. I can play the single player shit also. The multiplayer is like a bonus thing, and it's just merry, man. It makes me fucking happy to play that, and it makes me depressed thinking about the future.
What?
Well, don't worry. There's an indie direct tomorrow that's gonna make up the rest of the year for you.
There's only one game I want to do.
If Silk Song somehow
gets
released and is coming out this year, that'd be a big boost. But yeah, I don't think Collected. I haven't heard him. I don't. His mic's not showing muted, but
we're gonna give you the floor, Collected. If you don't want us to say anything,
let's just speak for Collected. What do you think?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, it's definitely quieter. Or it's definitely quiet.
Oh.
Quiet now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still
very
quiet.
low key.
Everyone's getting
we're all have. I mean, this is
Everyone's
issues.
having some shit.
Friday or Monday issues, man. Fucking 2020. What I mean.
Yeah, let's just go
fucking
to next
2020.
week. Fuck it. This week is out of here.
Clocked is just, his is doing what mine does when my camera's being used by another thing, but he says he's got nothing else
it's
open.
Just loading. Did you restart your computer? That's what I would do at this point.
I'm guessing he would have. I'm hoping. But either way, let's.
I don't know. Can he hear us? The check?
Oh, somebody behind you there.
Every week, man.
And it's kind of my fault because I started late, and then I was trying. So anyway, let's get to some. Let's get to the question. Let's get to a couple questions to start.
I don't know, man. My mic's showing up pretty good on my computer here, so I don't know what's the problem.
Very
Yes.
low.
It just sounds super
for
low.
weeks, but now you're just really low.
Does Discord have its own options for volume?
Yeah, it goes.
It lets you pick, but it doesn't let you pick.
Like if you right click our pictures, you can change our user volume.
Damn, yo, yeah, a lot of technical difficulties, yo. Jesus.
Oh, there we go.
Bro.
But that's, I mean, if you guys are having trouble too, so try again, T.
Check 1 2 1 2.
That's a bit louder. I don't know
It is a
if I don't know if this
little
did. Let me turn it way down and see if this actually does anything. Talk again.
Okay.
T. Oh yeah. Okay. So I put it at 200%. So it's a bit. It's definitely better.
Yeah, that's where I put him.
All right.
I still don't know what.
200%.
Let's see what clock it's at. He's
Damn.
at 100%.
So this is Juice's fault, not mine.
But I only control what I hear. I don't control it. I don't think I control what everyone else hears. But everybody else is at the same volume. Everyone else is at 100%.
I have to. Let me do it. Let me check that out. How do you do that?
You
But-
right clicked our video pictures.
How do I get back to?
Okay.
All right, so we'll get to some questions and then we'll dive into some topics. So let's see. Dave97 asks, how do you feel about publishers only showing a logo to a game when announcing a new installment in a franchise? Notable examples: Fable, Metroid Prime, Animal Crossing, and Elder Scrolls. That's a good one.
Oh yeah, Animal Crossing.
Wait, I missed the beginning of that question. I was focusing, not to
How do you-
focus on the technical shit, but Juice, your light is like, you're sitting in the dark, man.
Yeah, the light's
You
been
got-
dimming.
I don't know. It makes it very romantic.
It's very sensitive.
What is he doing? Is he whining and dining the audience? The fuck?
I shouldn't be black. I shouldn't be completely dark though. Yeah,
Should be
that's
like-
fine.
No, now you're better.
Do
You're
you,
better.
you want to see my Metroid collection? Like,
So what do you guys think for new installments in an established franchise if they just show a CGI or a logo? I mean, they just show a logo. How do you feel about that? Like Animal Crossing,
technically,
like Elder Scrolls, Metroid Prime, and Fable. Fable had a CGI
I
thing.
think you
Yeah,
can
it
get
had
away with
more.
it if the series has been gone for like 10 years.
I'm giving them a pass because of that. But
Yeah.
Yeah, like if a series has been gone for like an insane amount of time, okay, you can kind of get away with a logo. But like if it's just the next installment of the game,
i.e. Metroid Prime 4.
I mean, it
I
depends.
mean, Fable also is because when was the last Fable game?
No, I'm saying I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying that
Oh, okay, all
Metroid Prime
right.
4 got a pass. By
I
putting
think-
up a
Yeah.
job. So
I don't think it matters how long it's been since we've seen a game. For your very first reveal, if you just want to announce something is coming, I can deal with a logo or something, but don't give me like a logo, make me wait 3 years, and then give me a CGI trailer, you know? Like,
Yeah.
you gotta like boost it up from there. But like, I can get really hyped over a logo. I remember when the logo of Metroid Prime 4 dropped and all these fans couldn't even fucking recognize the music before the logo appeared, you know? I think it's pretty entertaining. Man, I'm not even gonna lie, I wet myself with the very first reveal of the Elder Scrolls 6. You see like this Lord of the Rings landscape, this music starts pumping up. You see like Elder Scrolls 6, like that's all I need to be happy. But like I said, don't leave us hanging dry like for 3 years after a logo.
Yeah, that's a good point.
you mean the way like Nintendo did? Start the game over.
I mean,
That's kind of man. Metroid was like, yeah, here we have the logo of Metroid Prime 4, but it more felt like we're thinking about making this game. We're not sure yet, you know, but I'm pretty sure we'll get into that later.
I feel like it's I think I give them a pass a lot of times when it's a new installment, especially because like I mean I'm the same person that when they said Animal Crossing I was like breaking down, you know, it blew my mind. And I think it's fine. And I was there when they did the Elder Scrolls 6. I was in that audience and people were freaking out, yo. People were freaking out. And I think it's fine when you get something like that. It just that second time around, it better not be no CG trailer though. It better be an actual some
I think
type
the
of reveal.
important part of it is, for me, the big distinguishing factor is if it's a game you were expecting it's already being made anyway. Like, for me, the next Elder Scrolls seems so obvious that they're going to make a new one that it's like, I guess the excitement would be that it, you know, getting to know when it's coming out or how soon it is away, you know, how far away it is, versus Metroid Prime 4, where just like, are they ever going to make another Metroid Prime? Are they just going to go to a 2D game? What are they going to do? You know, I had no faith that we would ever see a Metroid Prime 4. I actually would have thought they would have just gone in a different direction, you know, just did another Metroid of some completely different name. So for me, that was more of a wow, I didn't think they were going to do Metroid Prime 4 versus like the obvious they're making another 3D Mario game if it was just a logo for that. Like, duh, Mario Kart 9 logo isn't going to get me excited because that's so obviously coming next generation.
I would
Maybe, I don't know,
agree
man.
with,
Mario Kart Plus, that might be the next thing to do.
I would agree with logos like a Mario logo, a Mario Kart logo, but I kind of disagree with the Elder Scrolls because the problem is the Elder Scrolls games take like fucking decades, man. Between each game, there's so many years, and especially something like Skyrim. The only thing more milk than Skyrim is Final Fantasy VII and GTA 5. If a GTA 6 logo appears, I would legit be shocked. Like, oh hey, it's not another GTA 5, and the Elder Scrolls kind of falls under that. The fact that they show that they're making it, for me, means a lot, especially because apart from the Elder Scrolls 5, the only thing they've been fucking doing is the Elder Scrolls Online, which is an okay game, but it's a terrible Elder Scrolls game.
It did get out 2 Elder Scrolls games in one generation at one time, though.
That one time.
And
never again.
and
Never again.
And Clock that's not gonna.
Nobody even cares about Oblivion anymore, thanks to Skyrim.
Oblivion is ugly, man.
Yeah.
Clock that can't figure out his technical difficulties, so we're gonna go on without him.
We're gonna press forward.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Salute you, Mr.
So let's get to let's try to. Deku Tree's got a question here. Do you think it's better for a company to be bought? Oh wait, I already read that, didn't I? Or to be bought by Nintendo,
I
Sony?
didn't mention it. I feel like you've mentioned it.
Yeah, we. So let's.
We did that last week.
Do you believe studios leak their own content on purpose, and if so, which games were leaked on purpose?
That's a weird.
I don't know about
That's a
games.
definition of a leak.
Well, like I still think that fucking Deadpool was the movie.
Well,
was
but
leaked by
that
Sony.
wasn't even a movie though. It was just trying to
The
get
test
a movie.
footage so they could try to get a movie.
Producers, that was leaked by Ryan Reynolds and them because they wanted Fox to do it, and Fox didn't want to do it, so they pushed it out to the fans and made the fans push Fox to make.
Yeah, I don't know for
Crazy.
I can't really think of a game leak where it felt like it was on purpose.
I can't think of a game though. No.
But it's been a
Because a
while.
lot of people think like, oh, they released like a promo image. Oh, it leaked. No, it didn't leak. They posted a fucking image on Twitter. That's not a leak, The thing that's a leak, for example, is the stuff that happened with Smash Brothers when somebody like
Ryu.
videoed like the
Oh, yeah.
and that kind of
Ryu
video.
stuff.
That's a leak.
Oh no, yeah, the
But apart
roster.
from that, companies would never
Yeah.
on purposely leak. That serves no real purpose when it comes to marketing.
Especially when
Well,
when they put
retailers. I was just gonna say when retailers accidentally put up stuff too early, that's a leak. I mean, that's considered. Well, so.
and the Smash one they were working on CGI reveal trailers, so obviously that wasn't on purpose because they put money into those reveal trailers, and then when they just showed them anyway, and it lost its luster because we knew the character, but it was still cool. They're still well made.
It happened with Ryu and it happened with Shulk. Where Shulk was revealed way too early. When the CGI was great for it, but it was like, man, we already know about this fucking character. I feel bad.
Bowser Jr. We knew that whole
Yeah,
3DS thing. Remember
that was because of 3DS. The 3DS screwed that one.
Those were some days, yo.
All right, so Lightning,
6 years ago.
Lightning's got one. If you were a writer of a story and you were given to do so in a game, what would you do to get ideas of starting a script for a story in a game? I mean, what do you mean? What would we do? Like research-wise?
You come up with a concept.
I'm sorry, that question needs some grammatical corrections.
I think he was going for something deeper, and it did not come out that way.
So I'm guessing, Lightning, what did I tell you about asking questions where we have to figure out what your question is? I'm going to assume you mean what kind of inspiration or things you would do for research to get an idea. I'm guessing. But T writes stories, so maybe you could answer that one.
Gift T doing that. This is what I want. I want someone to make a gift of T doing that. And just put it up anytime something stupid happens.
So T, if you were writing a story for a video game, what would you do to get started?
Well, for me, this is easy because I would just pull from all my creative stuff. I have characters and whatnot. throughout my entire life. When one of the reasons I went to film school. So when I got to film school, I had all these ideas already, and I saw people like, "Oh, what do I do?" So it's not
Already
fair
ahead of the game,
because
yeah.
I'm a creative person, and I'm writing characters and stuff all the time. But it would be easy for me.
Yeah, for me, I would just. Why do I ask? Because I had to ask. Because before I came up with that, did you guys understand the question before I kind of threw in what I thought
I
it
was
meant?
a little jumbled there, Lightning, but admittedly.
I'm not gonna. I'm gonna try to cut my boy Lightning and Solid for a little bit. But, what?
Or
For me, what I would do is
Hey, I heard
who's
that.
that? Who the fuck was that? We got a ghost. I got a ghost in my house. What the
What
fuck?
did you do?
What's my
He's
mic
alive!
quality like?
That sounds all right.
Sounds
What?
pretty good.
Mhm.
Yeah.
he's like, no,
Dude,
not what I wanted.
Yeah. Okay.
No, you sound louder than T for me.
Savagery.
we can move
Say
his
it with your
volume up.
chest.
We can lift his volume.
ears cleaned out, son. That's all I gotta say.
You gonna say something, Clocked It?
Yeah, got too much hair.
Yeah,
over
can you hear me
your
okay?
Yeah.
I'm fucking
Oh damn!
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear. I'm on my phone.
Oh, you
now.
heard all that though. Sorry.
So you can't do the video?
Such a
I'm
No,
not
he
on
good.
He's holding his phone. Don't worry about the video if you gotta like.
No,
Unless
do
you
the
could prop
video.
your
Like
phone
it's
up.
I want that camera phone quality.
Yeah, if you could
like
prop your phone up and get it to work.
Yeah, I'll try and do that.
2 hours in front of your
Sorry,
face.
carry on.
Get that camera phone
All right.
quality.
For me, for writing a story, like for a game, it's hard because story's not the first thing I'd need to like know what I'd like to do it the Nintendo way. I'd like to think I'd want to show me a gameplay idea, and then try to come up with a story after that. I don't know if just for in general, I don't really story's not really the main focus for me for games. So I do appreciate it when there's a good story, but I know I have a ton of ideas for movies over the years that I just like finished from start to finish ideas for movies. I never wrote them down. I should have, but I don't know. Robert, you got some creative juices when you're doing your videos. I don't, but your creativity and something like making a Mario Maker level seems to be a little not your forte.
Wow. I mean, to be
Jesus
fair,
What
the
you have
writers of
for
a game don't really do game design. So it's two different things anyway. To be
Yeah, I mean,
fair,
you're
but-
super creative with your back of the backlog stuff, is what I'm saying. And then when it
Well,
feels
that's
like you,
exactly. If anything, I would be a writer. I would not be a game designer.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I would just brainstorm ideas. I'm not too sure. I feel like it's exactly what everyone would say. We brainstorm
I think
ideas.
the
We collect our
problem
thoughts.
the problem is just that either you're creative or you're not. Like I'm like T, like I like creating things, creating stories, creating characters. So if I would make a game, it's obviously the first thing I start is like characters. What are they gonna do? Create a story. So in my head, I already know it's gonna be some kind of RPG. I wouldn't want to make a fucking platformer, But either you are that creative or you're not. And if you're not, then you're obviously gonna draw inspiration from the stuff movies, things, or whatever. Either you create it from nothing or you don't. And that's where it starts.
he's got his phone. What do they call that? Orientation. It's not
Oh,
landscape.
He froze.
Yeah, you're freezing a bit.
A bit. This man is a stop motion.
I love his. What do they call that where it's
Man,
vertical
give me a break.
and not a horizontal camera? There you go.
Canvas
There you
mode.
go.
You're
Still
still.
frozen.
Yeah, your phone is probably. I don't know what it's set to, but it's fine. Just don't move. Just stay in that position the whole time. Cover your mouth so we can't see that when you're not talking when you are. See, I don't know if he's frozen right now.
I was frozen.
Oh, I think he
today.
was.
He was frozen. Maintain the perfect pose.
Must be those UK speeds.
Oh!
Yeah. I can't on my end. I can't really see anything. It's showing like the loading for him.
It did.
Yeah,
Don't
he's
actually say anything
he's a
wrong.
slideshow. He's like
Where it's like
Ark.
I see on the stream at least. It looks like is he just staying like
He's
that?
like Ark Survival Evolved on the Switch right now. He's about 5 frames a second.
Nah, I think Ark has more frames.
It's like what happens when you take a picture in 1910. You gotta stay there for
I'm
like
not just turning the microphone off.
that smile on your face.
The microphone or the camera?
He's like, I'm about to
I thought it
shoot
was
that
funny.
shit
I
out
think
of
it's
Turn the
funny.
camera off. That's all I gotta do.
Hold hands at the screen now.
you. He's like,
Okay, we got to focus away from that. All right, let's get to the next question.
So entertaining.
All right, Malik, seeing how the Halo Infinite demo looks, and since ray tracing will be added in a patch, this is an older question. Will Game Pass encourage devs to release unfinished games and patch them later, since consumers are just downloading them and not technically buying them? That's an interesting
they've been
perspective
doing
that
like
That's
this whole
already
gen.
doing.
I know,
they
but
did, like this whole gen.
But do you think that Game Pass might give them more incentive, since they're not buying this game? So how can they complain if it's need to be patched?
I don't know if Game Pass itself is giving the incentive, but I mean,
There are some rules that would keep that kind of stuff from happening.
Yeah, but at the same time, something like adding ray tracing, which they were planning on doing later, that to me that's not. I mean, for the Series X, for what it supposed to be able to do, I mean, you should be there, but at the same time, it's not the most important part of the game development. It doesn't, realistically, there's not too many games that actually makes that much of a difference, even when it's implemented. So as long as it's something like that, what do you call that? Superficial, I guess. I wouldn't be as mad about that as if it come out and it ran at 15-20 frames per second, choppy as hell, like clocked its camera. Then it'd be like, nah, I don't care that it's Game Pass. Paying for Game Pass, I expect the game to come out and not have performance issues.
And about ray tracing, barely have a CRT.
It's like,
come on.
they need to worry about more things than ray tracing from that demo. So, and when did the delay get announced? Did we talk about that last week? I can't even remember.
I think I wasn't on that one at all.
I think it was sometime.
No, that was
during the
last.
week.
That was last.
Was that last week or the week before?
It was
I think
last
it was
week,
Monday or
but
Tuesday they announced that, but was it before or after the podcast? That's the thing. I don't remember talking
It
about
was
it.
after. 'Cause
I
I
think
feel like
it
you
was
guys
after.
already talked about that.
Yeah, it was after.
Because we didn't talk about it, I don't think.
Yeah, so I think we should talk about it a little bit, and because I did want to say, because the whole argument about, well, what game is there to buy the system for? I know T talked about it in his live stream about some bad launch lineups in history, and the thing I wanted to bring up is, what games do we know are actually Xbox Series X games going to be there at launch at this point? I don't, other than third parties that are going to have free upgrades or whatever. I honestly can't tell you a single new game coming to Series X.
Again, to put it in perspective, before everybody jumps in, how long before we knew like a solid lineup for the Switch?
Yeah, there's still time, but at this point,
Like a month.
I'm just
before we-
saying, but like losing Halo as your launch game is like taking Breath of the Wild from like launch for Switch, or
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't put it on that level.
but it's
Well, I
still
mean,
a big
the reason why
blow.
I'm saying
For
though,
Xbox,
but like
I mean, it's
Halo,
essentially
that's the closest franchise they have to be like a heavy hitter is Halo. Like that's their.
It's kind of like
it. That's when you think Xbox. That's like the first game franchise you think of.
And I think
Definitely.
some of the worries, I guess, if you want to call it that, are because, yeah, with Switch, we didn't know the launch lineup until like the month before, or 2 months before, whatever it was. But at this point, that for the Xbox fans, like their third parties haven't even come out and said, hey, Avengers is coming to Series X. Well, they did confirm just a free upgrade for the Xbox One version, but that game comes out in September, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they've been doing the betas, for
And they
the
just
last
confirmed
few-
that the Series X is a November release, and it's like, no one knows a single like new game that's not going to be out already and just get an upgrade for Series X. So I think that's kind of adding to some people's concerns. But I think Halo is definitely a big loss.
The problem, I think, is not just that. Oh, we didn't know like a month before the Switch, nobody knew what came out. The problem is they have shown shit for the Xbox, which just didn't look up the bar, and then delayed the biggest one from that. So they would have to show like a whole new bunch of shit. And if they have a whole new bunch of shit, why didn't they show that before? I don't think there's going to be much more than what they have shown.
Well, part of it was that some of the Xbox mainstay games, like things like Forza, don't, even though they were shown, they're not confirmed to be launch games.
No, they said early in development. It's not even coming to Xbox One.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like,
no, I don't think we want Forza.
I'm just saying, like.
Yeah, but at this point, they haven't announced pre-orders or price, so it's like no one's gonna be pre-ordering it anyway right now. But it's just the fact of, I'm guessing they're just trying to get some of the dates lined up, so they haven't said anything. But it usually, for Xbox and Sony, usually by now you'd at least have some idea of what third parties are bringing to the table, as far as like.
I think that's probably more. That's probably more surprising than anything. Is the third party response.
We're dealing with a global pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
So nailing down dates might be a little tricky. Months and months.
But Call of Duty hasn't even been like, hey.
Delayed the whole thing.
Dude, there's still not a Call of Duty. That blows my mind.
That is gonna.
Well, they had to switch. They had to switch developers. They got rid of Sledgehammer, so who knows? But they might just ride the whole free-to-play, whatever that game's called, Call of Duty.
I think the one problem with
why is Retro all pixelated, by the way? He's like, you're like looking 8-bit.
It's that European.
He's like 8-bit.
It looks like a Photoshop filter. Yeah.
This is just a hell of a night. Hell of a night.
Don't. If you keep acknowledging it, is what makes it worse.
Yeah, I've given up with the camera.
Yeah, no, it's so funny. It's getting more and more.
Should we just turn the cameras off?
No, we just said fuck it. My camera ain't shit.
Did that work?
You know, it just can't handle the hair, man. It can't.
Yeah, the hair is just too much. It's not even like.
I'll just finish the point I was making. The problem with Xbox, like PlayStation, for example, they had like Knack, Killzone, and Resogun. That's not the greatest launch lineup, but PlayStation had a legacy they could feed off, and Xbox doesn't have those good standings where I don't see the system selling unless they have something good on there.
I think it's more of an issue of them just not reaching into their back catalog as much, which is kind of a problem in its own right.
Can you hear me okay now?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Can I just go quickly back to, because I missed the part where you were talking about, like, when they show logos and stuff.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that, and like Metro Prime 4 and Fable was brought up, and I think it falls in line with this as well. So all I say with this is like, when you do show a logo for a game, that game not only needs history, but it also needs good history. So if you're going to show something like a Prime 4 logo, you've got Prime 1, 2, and 3, right? If you're going to show a Fable logo, you've got Fable 1, people struggle then to defend the rest. So it's already got a bit of bad history. So hype level wise, as I say with like Animal Crossing, you got just hype level wise, I think it really depends on what the game is to be able to get away with a logo. You can't do it with a brand new IP because you don't know what it is. You can't just show a new IP and just say, hey man, this is our game called Tank. It's not gonna work, is it? So it needs, and like even if they show just Crash Bandicoot 4, just a logo coming back, some people go nuts with it, but most other people would just be like, it's Crash Bandicoot.
What about Mario Sunshine 2 logo? Would that get you guys hyped?
That actually would get me hyped though. And of course,
I'd probably be more confused than anything.
As much as people hate the original Mario Sunshine on here, I think Mario Sunshine 2, I think with modern Nintendo, you boys wouldn't have any fears about what the controls might be like or anything like that. So
yeah, I just hope they would take. I think
the hype would just be there.
I think the 3D Mario team has just hit a new level after Galaxy. They've just been on a roll, and I think they learned a lot with Sunshine. It was just the development cycle was too short, and And I think they're their top. In my opinion, they're the top team at Nintendo, the 3D Mario team.
The controls in Odyssey are absolute perfection.
Mhm.
I think 3D gaming.
So getting back to the topic of Series X is now the second system in a row that didn't have a new game at launch. The Xbox One X did it, and it was kind of I mean, some of the diehard hardcore Xbox guys bought it. We still don't know the numbers, but I don't think it was a huge hit. I think it needed that must-have, like, show off the power type game, and I really thought the Series X with Halo had a chance to be that, but obviously it didn't. What's funny?
Retro, yo. This
It was just,
Like musical cameras over here, man.
yeah, the fucking,
I just did that on purpose.
I want y'all to see the hair follicles, goddammit. Do you see the roots?
No, now it's fine, but it just you can even see the eyes.
I didn't see it, so
It was like Monday nights full of technical difficulty. Retro drops from the car.
Snowball
Man, what's
downhill.
going on tonight?
And Lenny Wright said, "Video can't render Retro's hair. It's like he's in the Avengers game." Oh,
Oh yeah, that beta's a
Damn.
piece of work, bro. That's all I'm gonna say.
and then you got some people saying it's better than Spider-Man and it's the game of the year potential.
I don't understand.
I knew you were going to bring that
Oh,
up.
really?
Exactly.
I don't
right.
understand
Yeah, that's next
how
gen.
in some aspects I can see why you would say that, but man, I'm still gonna stick to my statement from when I first started seeing gameplay of it. It's Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 with a better budget. That's literally what it comes off to me. as.
Yes.
Casual. You feel that game.
It's got that
It's a
melee.
fucking-
I would probably prefer the melee combat. It has maybe some of the characters probably better than others. Than the Arkham combat, the counter system, where you just constantly get prompted to hit triangle and it just automatically, counters the move, and then but it also has the same problem as Spider-Man with these fucking asshole enemies that block everything. It doesn't matter if you're Thor or a Hulk, their shields
Yeah.
can absorb all the hits.
Yeah.
And then they're
Right.
you hit them and they have these animations that can't be interrupted, and then they attack and hit you no matter what you do.
Also, side note, I hate the fact that they have like this a warning attack is coming towards you indicator. They're all around you in the screen when they're shooting guns and shit, but your dash is so fucking poor, so you're constantly taking hits, and it just becomes, oh, I guess I'm just gonna have to power through it and win, I guess.
I wouldn't mind seeing a focused game on maybe 4 or 5 main Avengers single player game. I think they could have did something, but with this co-op, what do they say, Destiny style loot system, it's just that that
So
repetitive.
So someone gave me the code for the beta, so I tried it out a little bit. I only did the first section where you play as all the Avengers and when you fight Taskmaster, and then I did the second section when you're Camilla and Hulk, and you're like going through some type of base. It's one of those games that, like, the animations look cool, and I can appreciate some of the attention to detail with some nods and references to the comics and some of the outfits that you can get. But man, that minute to minute gameplay is literally just like punch, heavy attack. Oh, it didn't work. I guess you better guard for 5 minutes because you're about to take a barrage of hits. Like, it's like a slog. That's what it
Yeah,
feels
that's
like.
a
It's slog.
monotonous, repetitive, like
And
I thought God of War was going to be like that in the beginning, but then you start upgrading. And maybe Avengers has upgrades and stuff, but once you got where you could change his equipment and change his special moves and stuff, and like got the second weapon, it was like, holy shit, there's a lot of depth
I mean,
here.
and I want to be fair about this. Look, it's not if you like that gameplay style, because I like that gameplay style. That's why I bought Ultimate Alliance 3. So I don't want to get it twisted like it's a bad gameplay style. But I hate that, like, I went online after I played a little bit of the beta, and then everyone was like, "This could be Game of the Year material," and I was like, "What?"
That's
In
because of
what
that
way?
flashy, the
flashy.
opening sequence where you're
I hate that.
where you
shit.
barely can. You see Iron Man. You mean some of the worst controls for his shooting.
Oh, dude.
It looks so bad.
That first section you get to control him, it does that dumb shit where he can fly, but if you fly a little bit too out of range, it resets the
Mm-hmm.
mission because you've flown too far out of bounds. I hate. Why give me flight then? I can't use
And it's
Yeah.
slow flight.
The difference between like Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 and this is that game's not trying to be like the super ultra realistic, you know, what do you call it, Destiny type of game, with loot and all this stuff. It knows what it is. It be a comic booky kind of, you know,
Arcadey type.
really flashy,
Yeah,
just-
it's like old
Beat 'em
school beat 'em up.
yeah, old school beat 'em up. So that's the difference. Where I can accept that in that type of game. I can play little short bursts and, you know, and accept that game for what that is. But this game wants to be something else, but ultimately boils down to the same type of gameplay.
It's the same design, so it ticks me off when people want to praise it to high hell, but you didn't give a fuck about the same kind of game that came out a year ago
Well, it's
because
not
of
as
the
pretty.
way it looked.
I don't even think
Not as
it
pretty
looks
and
that good.
flashy.
I mean, because we're so used to seeing these characters as Chris Evans and Scarlett Johansson, it's weird seeing them as other, especially Thor. Thor looks just ridiculous, stupid to me. He
You should
looks.
have put the money in and got them because it just
This is
because
It
it's
even
trying
has
to be realistic. You think of the movies and stuff, and it's just like, oh,
Yeah, it doesn't.
the
It
kind of
doesn't.
shit where it's totally fuck, what the fuck is his name again? It's totally the actual actor of Thor, but it's secretly not really, you know, but you know that it is.
yeah,
Specifically for that reason.
It's like
it
discount
looks like
Thor.
Thor from
It's all the stunt doubles, every single one.
And it's Mary Jane Watson
Yeah,
from.
that's what it is. It's the stunt doubles.
It's
It
just
even
like.
has that dumb shit when
Oh,
you
look
walk
at-
up to a wall that's too big, and it's like, bro, you gotta hold down triangle to use a heavy attack, and then you can break down the wall. And I'm like, but I was flying like a minute ago. You tell me I can't just fly over the wall?
Yeah.
Nah, man.
That's just
Heavy attack.
that's just not thinking. That's just the game design. They're not taking into account a lot of that stuff. Oh, you're Hulk now. Well, this guy with the shield still can deflect all your attacks, still absorb all your attacks. It's like,
insane.
why? That's just it's so
Well-
stupid.
Hulk does
That's-
that dumb thing because they got crates and shit you can open up through the level. So it's crazy to me. He can destroy trees and flip over cars and whatever the fuck, and then he walks over to a chest and kicks it. And like, oh, look at it. It's like what? Like,
All right, let's move on from this game. It doesn't deserve
It
anymore.
doesn't need as much time. no.
So
it
this is
just
a
ticks me off.
this is a good question from Dave97. Have you given up on a possible Metroid Samus Returns port to Switch? It's going on 3 years. Would you rather have a new 2D Metroid? I'd rather have a new 2D Metroid because
It's going
Yeah,
on 3
yeah.
years. Don't we need another one?
Hmm?
So
No,
why
'cause
is that the
people-
question?
people thought that Samus Returns might get ported to Switch just because it makes sense because 3DS was dying and dead at that point, and I just
People
had
thought the Chorus Kills were going to be in
I'm
Smash.
thinking about what makes sense because it doesn't make sense in Nintendo. Like I gave up on that.
For that, it might be less expensive to just port the.
I know, but it's not
the
that.
same-
I mean, I like the game, but it's nothing I absolutely like. Oh my god, that needs to be on Switch. That'd be so much better on Switch. It's just, it was a little. It's probably the
Captain Toad.
weakest. It's probably the weakest Metro game I've played. It was still good, but it was fighting that same stupid boss over and over was kind of.
I just hope that Nintendo gives Mercury Steam another shot at doing.
Yeah,
2D
I'd rather have
Metroid.
a-
I think that was a good basis. You just got to give them another chance to kind of do their own thing without it being tied to being a quote unquote remake.
Yeah, I like the
I
little
think
counter.
Another Metroid 2 remake.
I like the counter system. I liked the free aiming and stuff. I mean, it had some cool
I've heard
ideas.
people went in and out with the counter because they don't like the fact that you have to stop to do it versus they say most people I've heard say is it messes with the flow of going through areas and shit, which I get, but once again, I think that could be something that could be fixed in a sequel.
I like the counter and everything, but the
I
thing
like
is,
the
it was really
idea.
designed for the 3DS, and with that in mind, I like the half of what made Metroid Samus Returns so good for me was the fact that it had some of the best 3D effects on the
I
3DS.
agree.
I don't want to see that shit on a flat ass screen. I'm not gonna care.
And would they actually put the effort in to do any other than just make it in higher res and not change any of the character models, any of the texture work? Would it just be, oh, let's bump this game up like Monster Hunter Ultimate?
Monster Hunter, that's all it's gonna be. Monster Hunter Ultimate.
Yeah, I mean, and
Switched
just
out.
not really. I mean, and would they charge 40 or 60 or what? Like Visor Grunt said, they probably charge $60 for it. I mean, I'd rather just see a new game, completely different art direction. I mean, I I liked the 3D and stuff in that game. They kind of use it looked like Samus was a 3D character model, but I would with games like Hollow Knight and Ori, I just want to see Nintendo just blow us away with a fucking 2D art style that's just
Yeah.
mind blowing. You know, even like Rayman.
It's like what we said.
Giving us this lazy ass.
It's like
new
it's
Super
like what we
Mario
said
shit.
with Mario Maker. The fact that they have Mario Maker makes it impossible that I don't want to see another new fucking Super Mario Brothers 15. Like, you gotta make the next 2D one graphically blow me away. And it doesn't need to be like, you know, Unreal Engine fucking shit, but give it a style, make it something, you know, like you said, with Ori or Hollow Knight, give it an essence and don't just copy paste that shit. But then again, you know, I'm pretty sure convinced at this point we are gonna get Samus Returns, but they won't even upres it, you know, just copy paste it on a fucking Switch, you know, all janky and pixely and shit, you know, like I have little, and I hate saying that, I have less and less faith in Nintendo giving me good quality shit, because what we've seen lately is like ports after ports, but then half the ports are like half-ass ports, and if even the ports are half-ass, what am I gonna expect next, you know?
Yeah, we don't want to get into
Outside
the.
of, like,
Remember,
Island.
I did a video. I did a
haven't been
video,
much.
you know, a bit before, where I said the last Metroid game, Nintendo made themselves was Metroid Fusion. That was the last, you know, 2D one they done themselves.
Mm-hmm.
If you actually think about 2D in itself, just side-scrolling of what Nintendo have done themselves, outside of Mario, what can you think of that Nintendo have done themselves? I'm not talking about Retro Studios. I'm not talking about anyone else. What have they done?
No, nothing.
Well, who did Yoshi's Island?
Yoshi's Island was the
Yeah,
last
the
like
fact,
2D
the
game
fact
they
that you
made.
need to think about it, they just, I think, I mean, I always said before that they gave up on, essentially on 2D. During the N64, the N64 pretty much cut off 2D from Nintendo
Except
themselves.
the one
You know,
Yoshi story, I
side-scrolling and
think.
stuff. Yeah, they done Yoshi's Story.
Yoshi's Story. Yeah.
Did they? No, they didn't do Epic Yarn themselves, because they've never really done the Kirby games
That
themselves.
game was
No, they don't.
They, or Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. You know, there we go. Was, you know, was the last one. But I don't think they're interested. I really, which is why they flog them off. I really don't think they're interested themselves outside of Mario to do side-scrolling in 2D that much anymore. I really don't think so.
Yeah, and this belief that we're gonna get 2D Zeldas and all, we're not getting that. You get 3D Zelda and maybe a remake of something.
2D remakes, probably.
You know what I was thinking about earlier
Well, it's like
today?
even Link's Awakening. I mean, to be fair, who done? I mean, Nintendo done Link Between Worlds, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So outside of Mario and Zelda, I struggle to think of what else they've done themselves.
They did Yoshi, don't they?
2D wise from
No, I
major
thought that was
franchises.
isn't that Feel Good?
Good Feel.
Oh, Good
Yeah,
Feel. Sorry.
Good Feel done Woody World. And
Oh,
stuff
did
like
they?
that.
I think. Well, they always have one of the producers is always just like one of Nintendo's guys, right? Like, there's always somebody.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there's always someone there, of course. I'm just talking about. I talked about like Nintendo EAD or EPD as they're called now, like, you know, where they did used to do all of this stuff, but then they've just either gotten other studios to do it, they'll stick their noses in, do their Nintendo stuff to it, but you know, it's not them directly full on developing it. You know, they're 50-50 or you know 60-40.
Well, we'd only get one game
know,
a year if
depending
it
on what
was
it is.
just them by themselves working on all these franchises. We'd be lucky if we got
Oh, we
one
say
game.
that, but we say that, but look at the SNES, look at the N64. You know, they did pump out a lot of games, 3D games or 2D games.
They were they were on top of their game though with 2D style games. I think
they were peaking.
you start getting in the 3D realm, then they started getting these other companies to help them because I think they just had to. I mean, you can't expect them to be making Breath of the Wild 2 and sequel to Odyssey or whatever that's going to be, and then also do multiple other games. I just don't think it just doesn't make sense when they have Next Level and they have all these, you know, good studios to make games.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, we say that, but then we see them. We go back to the old 3DS and Wii U. where they juggle stuff then. Even if it was the Mario and Zelda team, they still managed to chuck out new Super Mario Bros. U after new Super Mario Bros. Wii, Mario Bros. 2 on the 3DS. Mario Bros. They still
3D
they still can
Land,
do
3D
2D.
World.
They can still do that stuff. And as I said before, the HD gaming side, let's not pretend that HD gaming is so time consuming now. It's so difficult. I mean, you get 3 people making Hollow Knight. And we're talking about Nintendo here.
And they made ARMS in a relatively short time, I'm guessing, from what they said. I want to say it was probably a
it
year.
It came out 2017. And when did the DLC finish for Mario Kart 8?
Mario Kart 8?
Yeah, because it's the same team.
It must have been 2015. I don't know.
2016?
Yeah, it must be 15 or 16.
So about a
something.
year, maybe 2 years.
Yeah,
at most.
I mean, so anyway, we got a lot of other topics to cover here, so I'm gonna try to get through a couple of them. Let me check my list I had sent you guys earlier, so I feel like I'm forgetting every one of them right now.
A few of those topics are pretty quick, I think.
Yeah. Oh, there was a Amazon listing for Skyward Sword HD. I feel like that's happened before, so I don't know how legit that is, or how convinced we are that that's
Amazon
real.
listed Metroid Prime
Do you
Trilogy
really
as
want
well.
that?
Can we just move on from that?
Do you really want that? No.
Dude, everyone wants it. Everyone wants Skyward Sword.
I mean,
dude. They love that game. They didn't buy it, but they love it.
I would say that's a game that could use
That's a fair game.
a Wind Waker HD kind of treatment where they maybe tweak some stuff
A
and
lot of stuff.
fix a few. Obviously, the one major glitch they would obviously fix, and then the rupee thing. But I mean, if that one would take a little more time though, because they got to adopt the motion control into some kind of standard control option. That would take so much work at that point. Like, is it even worth it? I guess.
The prettier you make that game, the more its flaws stand out of emptiness.
Exactly.
That empty,
Also, I don't-
that skyloft, that empty sky area.
Yeah, that flying around between
I
the
don't
islands.
think the
is-
motion controls would take that long to change it to regular controls. I would assume with a game like that, regular controls are the first thing that exists, and the motion controls, they add them onto that. You can't instantly test your game without Link being able to be controlled normally.
I think it started from the ground up with the Wii Motion Plus, but I do think it would look amazing, that watercolored art style. Somebody said in the chat, Downey Arts. I still think that would look amazing in HD, but it's one of those games that if it was take away all the other ports and remakes and remasters we've gotten, I would have said, put that near the top of the list if you're going to actually go through it and make it a definitive edition and tweak stuff. I don't think they could make it a seamless transition from Skyloft down to the ground or anything like that, anything major like that, but
This game is too tiny for that.
I know. But we've gotten, Breath of the Wild now, so it's going to be hard to go back to Skyward Sword, especially for a Switch owner who started with Breath of the Wild and maybe hasn't checked out any of the other Zelda games. I think to go to Skyward Sword from Breath of the Wild might feel...
It looks like a lot of people picked up Link's Awakening, at least,
Yeah, that's true.
Like, what is this linear as loading it?
Remember that game got shown early, and then they delayed it probably a year and a half, and then really kind of went back to the drawing board. And I remember when I first saw it, I thought, it's like you said, the linear just felt very, I don't know, very narrow. The level they showed, it was a demo at E3, probably 2009, I'm guessing. And I'm just like, man, if this is a little training area, whatever it was, I think it was swiping at, I don't know if it was enemies or just wooden.
Is that when he was having motion troubles because of interference?
Was it that game? But there was a working demo when people showed, and I was just like, man, that to me, I remember thinking that looks like it's a long way off. There's no way that's coming out soon. That was the feeling I got. But I feel like honestly, the final game, the story and everything, they definitely put a lot into it, and there were some really good areas, and there's some less memorable areas, but overall I thought it was a good game. So I wouldn't be mad at an HD version of that. It's not like it's a Wii U port or something. Where if they actually did some decent work to it, I wouldn't be mad at it. I probably wouldn't pick it up, but I mean, I know I wouldn't.
Imagine it came out this year, though. How bad would that be? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, this year.
The thing is, then that's the problem. Like, I assume if Skyward Sword comes out, that means Breath of the Wild 2 is not coming out that year. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
We
I
already
don't think
kind of
so.
we can already assume that Breath of the Wild 2 is not coming out. That'd be a weird.
I think if this
Well,
game.
no. I'm
just
talking about like,
happened-
let's say it were to drop next year. Would that mean there's no Breath of the Wild 2? It's like
I
that
don't
next
know.
year.
Depends on what time next year.
Yeah.
If it's early next year, and they decide to drop Breath of the Wild or Breath of the Wild
Yeah.
holiday next
November,
year,
yeah, maybe.
fine. I think they would do that actually.
Clock that you were saying something.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say if this game did drop this year, I think any other year it would have been fine. I just think even now, right now, we're grumbling about, even though this is a Wii game, just like Xenoblade was. You know, we're still in that grumbly. This is an old game. We've been there. We've done that. We want something new. If it dropped any other year, just like Wind Waker HD dropped, we were completely fine with that. It's just that this year, it's just like, and then if they drop like all the Mario games as well.
That's what I'm saying.
But clocked it. They got to make up their losses from only selling 3 million on the Wii.
Ironically enough, I said the same thing yesterday. I said, I don't think it's I think Skyward Sword will be one of the more justified ports, but because of the timing.
Yeah. And I was joking.
Yeah, it's just the timing.
The timing is what's killing it. But I think it's a more justified port than the ones we had.
I honestly would have rather had it than Twilight Princess, but
That term just makes me like really sad at this point. We used to say that about Mario Kart. They're just a justified port. At this point, you had like 25 fucking ports. No port is no longer justified at this point.
I
mean, for the game, not for the game. I think it's justified. Not necessarily if you want a new content. But I think Skyward Sword is a game that I think people wouldn't mind seeing updated. And I think people still wouldn't mind seeing updated. It's just you don't want to deal with it after being barraged with like 6 or 10 or 20 other games.
Well, since we were talking about Nintendo's in-house and their companies they have make games for them, Retro Studios has a job posting out for the lead producer for Metroid Prime 4. Lead producer. Like, I honestly don't know enough about game development, the studios and stuff, but to me, when I hear they need a game producer or lead producer, to me I'm not feeling good about where that game is right now. If they need a lead producer right at this point, and it's not fake, it was just legit, a legit job posting.
Well, apparently there are multiple lead producers. I was trying to compare it to like my situation, which would be filmmaking. Lead producer would be the person who pitched the damn game. Like that's who the lead producer would be on as far as like movies. Because you go to an executive producer with your pitch.
Or is he just the boss of all the other producers? Is that what the lead producer is? You know, it's like...
Yeah, but you don't hire them late. You hire them early. Like that's somebody you want to have chemistry with the team. So you don't bring in somebody, that's like bringing in somebody late in a, in any situation where a project's already being worked on. We're gonna bring in some outside guy to be your boss. Like that that's not a good, way to go. So I mean,
I don't know.
Different movie gaming, so I don't know.
But if I'm remembering correctly, isn't the producer the guy who usually gets all the credit with a game, not the director? Usually it's the producer.
Producers get more credit
that's the executive
on most games, because some games depends on if the game's like really cinematic. The director gets a lot of credit in that case. But again, it's hard to tell with gaming. But lead producer just sounds like somebody you'd have in place already, because the producer hires a lot of people. Yeah. I do hiring too, so I don't.
Any chance this game comes out on Switch?
What?
Who feels Metroid Prime 4 is coming out on Switch? I absolutely don't believe it's coming out on Switch.
You don't think they'll do a cross-gen? I think it'll be the launch day.
I don't know why they would.
I'm
I
gonna say
believe
still. I'm
it's
gonna say
coming.
yes still.
It's not that series.
Yeah,
I
it's
believe
not
it's
the.
coming
I
to
would think
Switch.
Metroid, what Metroid Prime, Super Metroid, they're in there. Like, I don't know about Super Metroid, but I know Metroid Prime underperformed for them. Like, they had higher expectations for Prime and Sunshine, by the way. Just throwing that in there.
Fuck off.
I just feel like it's not.
We're just gonna keep throwing in them punches.
You don't want to put it out the last year of the Switch's life because I think that, not to use this, I mean, it's a perfect pun. I think you want Metroid Prime 4 to come out in the prime of a system's life, the peak excitement, to have the best chance of it being a big seller.
Look at him being clever over there.
I'm gonna.
Somebody give him a cookie.
I think you would want it out this
Honestly,
year
That's nice.
to really to have peak sales for a Metroid game, to finally maybe break through that 1 to 2 million sales of Metroid.
We were talking about that before, and I was slightly against it when I said a great game can release towards the end of a console's life and still do really well. But I think we've all, well, at least for me now, I'm starting to wonder if I even, just with the stigma of the Switch and how we all feel about it now, with each progressing bloody year and a month and stuff, I'm kind of like, do I even want this game on this platform now? And that's what's making me. I'm starting to think that, and that's a bad thing, because I mean, Breath of the Wild 2 and Prime 4 are my most hyped games, probably of all time at the moment. I couldn't name you a remake or a sequel to anything that would be more hype than these two games. Not even even in like the most fantasy world where Sega were the cream of the crop on top. I wouldn't even say Panzer Dragoon Saga 2. Right? It's just Prime 4 and Breath of the Wild 2 are just that hype level for me. So I need them to be perfect. I don't care when they come out, but I need them to be perfect. And I'm not sure the Switch now as a platform, just with everything that it offers, even now as a system with the online, whatever. I always said the Wii U was a perfect console for Prime 4. With the gamepad and all that stuff, everything they could have done with Miiverse, with the online, all that stuff, the Wii U was a perfect fucking. I'm suddenly now starting to not feel it with the Switch, because the Switch now, I feel, for me, and maybe for a lot of us, is starting to become that console that has let us down. Where we all started in 2017, even me and T was saying, holy shit, this could be our new N64, because we were getting these games and these announcements, or we're just like, fucking hell, this console's amazing, the Joy-Cons are so exciting, all this stuff. And then as the years trickled on, this console, in little ways, it just started to piss us off. So I'm just, and like I said, with the development of Prime and stuff now, I'm just like, maybe it should just wait now.
I believe that Prime 4 is definitely coming to the Switch, and only to the Switch. And I'm going to give a few reasons for them, and both are Animal Crossing. I believe, especially a game like Prime 4, it doesn't need to come in the beginning. It can come at the end. I always said Animal Crossing should come at the beginning, because Animal Crossing is a game that is always being supported. Even New Leaf, it's always getting new download, new shit. It never stopped. Prime is a game that doesn't need that. On top of that, damn, I thought it was stopped for so long, I forgot like half my fucking point.
Oh, sorry.
The thing with Prime 4 is that I was going to use fucking Animal Crossing for two examples. The support
Well, it's
and go ahead.
Well, it's just not like Animal Crossing where it doesn't have. It's not just going to last forever for people if you're going to play it, beat it.
Yeah, the only way Metroid Prime 4 would do that is if it had multiplayer.
Yeah, if they had a stellar multiplayer. But let me read some of the chat. There's some comments in here about Obi-Wan Slam. He thinks it'll be a cross-gen game. It'd be interesting to see timing-wise if they would even. I think it would be better as a just a launch title for the next system if that was the situation. But because Zelda, like somebody said, Zelda came out and Wii U was dead. But A, that's Zelda, and B, it did what, 2 million on Wii U, 19 million on Switch. So it's like, I mean, at that, it pretty much wasn't I mean, 2 million's 2 million, but would that 2 million have been added onto the Switch's numbers, or were there a lot of people that double dipped? So, but then Malik
Some
says,
people probably doubled up.
Malik says, Breath of the Wild 2 in holiday 2021 and Prime in spring of 2022. So that'd be 5 years, and you would think, 5 to 6 years. I mean, some people think the Switch will be longer. But Lenny has Metroid Prime 4 pre-ordered at Best Buy for $47, so he's hoping it comes to Switch. So I hope for your sake.
Hey man, listen, that's not a bad way of handling it.
Because he probably had to.
Rip-off in America. How can stores offer pre-orders for games that don't even fucking exist in a conceptual level? It's like, come on.
Actually, someone did that for Kingdom Hearts 3.
They keep
Kingdom
doing
Hearts
that
3 was
in
like that for
America.
like years.
Bullshit.
But he's got his gamer club discount. He don't want to give that up. So
Yeah,
And that actually,
it was like the last thing he pre-ordered before the shit went in there.
that reminded me of the thing I still wanted to say about Metroid Prime 4. That's what my other point with Animal Crossing was. Animal Crossing is something that's being supported over years, which is what, for me, fuels my argument where I think the Switch is going to be here for like 3-4 more years. And I do think that in that time, I'm the one who says don't expect a fucking Metroid Prime 4 this year. I said like 3 years ago, I already said shit like don't expect this game in the next 3 or 4 years. And it might still be 2 or 3 years at this point, but I still think we will still have to Switch at that point.
yeah, I guess time will tell. When did they restart? Because TriLink said last year, but I thought it was it beginning of 2019 or 2018 where they admitted they restarted Metroid Prime 4?
It was 2019.
2019. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a year and a half ago.
That's really not that far.
So if you think, let's say
it's only been
3 years, give them a solid 3 years, and that's 2022 spring. So yeah, I think that's the earliest.
I mean,
I just don't. I don't know.
I said
Metroid.
2022.
That's
I'll
a
predict in
game
2022.
monthly.
The problem is like if they're let's say they're still in the middle of developing it, then it's gonna be like all of a sudden, hey guys, by the way, I need you to make a cross-gen port for the next console. Like,
Yeah,
it's not
because
that go ahead.
somebody, anime rapper, says you can't promise a game and take it away. They've done that. It's not really been promised. I mean, how many times has Nintendo started a game, shown it on the N64 and released it on GameCube, or shown on GameCube, released it on Wii?
A lot.
Well, any developer, it's like we go back to games like Cameo on the N64, Cameo on GameCube, Cameo on Xbox One, and then finally on the Xbox 360. And same with like Perfect Dark Zero.
Perfect Dark Zero, same thing.
One to Xbox 360.
Mm-hmm.
What was that game? Two Human.
Yeah. N64, PS, PlayStation was gonna work with them, and then it went to 360, and then they went
Dude,
to.
they had like shit fun of.
It came
They
out.
had like. Sorry.
All right, we gotta get to the main topic here, and more bitching and complaining. But as somebody,
Podcast. Subscribe.
I'm the only one here who bought Control, and already bought the Expanse, or the
I got Control.
Well, yeah, but I bought it and the expansion pass, and I
cheated.
can't look to see what it cost me because it just says purchased.
That's where I was.
It was either 20 or 30. I cannot remember. If somebody can get on the PlayStation Store and just see if they can,
sure,
and see what it's cost. But anyway,
I bought Control for 20 because it was on sale from 40 to 20, but that's like 50 bucks for you guys.
Yeah, so to you it's not as big of a deal. But here's the thing, and I don't know if Terrell brought this up. I think he did. It's on the Epic Store, the original version, for $59.99 right now without the DLC.
Yeah.
So $60. So somebody who could accidentally buy that version thinking they're getting like the Ultimate Edition, you know how dumb gamers or consumers can be, accidentally clicks the wrong version, and so they could pay $60 right now and not get the DLC and not get the, well, it's PC, so there's no free upgrade part, but and then 2 weeks later the Ultimate Edition comes out with the DLC for $40. And it's like Terrell made.
Oh, you spent. Okay, so I looked up.
Is it 25?
Did you? Yeah, I was gonna say I see 25.
I bought them together.
Okay, so you got like the Control Season Pass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's 25.
So $25. I paid $40 for the game on Black Friday. It was normally a $60 game, but still. So right, Terrell made this point. I didn't even think about this in my rant. Before I can even play the second expansion that I paid full price for, the Ultimate Edition comes out the day before or the same day. I think it might even be the day before.
I thought it was the same day.
Or maybe it's the same day. Either way. And the entire game with the DLC is $40. The same day the DLC I paid full price for back in March comes out. Like,
Oof.
I don't think we've ever seen a collect or a Game of the Year Ultimate Edition, Complete Edition come out the same day as the last like major expansion that people paid full price for earlier in the year. It's like it doesn't make.
You don't even know the DLC is worth it yet with that because you haven't played the second part of it yet. And well, here's the Ultimate Edition. Well, what the fuck? Like, I think that was the only rant of yours I've ever watched where I was like, you are not mad enough about this.
I didn't even think about that part of it. I was just like, I don't care about an Ultimate Edition, but I was like, shit, it's the same day. I haven't even people who paid $40 for the entire package get to play that Alan Wake expansion the same day as somebody who pre-ordered that, bought the game. Let's say somebody paid $60 for the game, paid $25 for the season pass back in March, and somebody who just picks up the game for $40 gets to play it at the same day. Like, there's no penalty for them waiting. And then the icing on the cake, I guess you will, they're locking the what do you call it, the upgrade for the next gen systems to the Ultimate Edition.
Yeah.
So basically, the guy who bought it, let's say somebody bought it for $60 back when it launched.
The person who supported you when you first put
played
out
through the bugginess,
game.
played through the performance issues, waited for patches, saw the expansion coming out, paid $25, so he's $85 in, plus taxes, going to be 90 something. And you're denying that person the upgrade when they buy a PS5 or Xbox Series X, but you're giving it to the person who paid $40 who didn't buy your game at full price, and you're getting the least amount of money from it. It just doesn't make any sense on any level other than trying to trick people into rebuying the game for the
I just want to put my perspective in the into this podcast real quick in a condensed version. I said in my stream yesterday, I was like, being an early adopter of a game is really not worth it. It hasn't been for a while, realistically. The only advantage you get for buying a game when it first comes out is that you're playing it first before the people who jump on it a year later with an Ultimate Edition, or they get the Game of the Year edition. The only thing you get is the satisfaction you get to play that game and enjoy that game as soon as it comes out. That's all you get nowadays, and you don't even get the best version of the game. Not even with and I'm not even talking about patches and shit, which is a whole nother thing. You got usually the game has to get patched and shit within the first few months of it. So you're not even, usually you've already beaten the game at that point if you're someone who was super.
Yeah, you finished the game before it got the patch to actually make it place.
But I almost bought the game a couple weeks ago. And
oh yeah, that would have been even worse if you'd.
So you say early adopter. I wouldn't consider myself an early adopter buying the game a couple weeks ago.
No, I said, you know why I would say you're an early adopter?
I would 5 days before that announcement.
I would say you're an early adopter because you still bought it within the first year. Game of the Year editions of a game shouldn't be coming out only when the game has only been out for a year.
Yeah, usually
every game doesn't get Game of the Year editions.
And usually it's true. Well after all the DLC's been out. I've never.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't think it's ever happened the same day that a major expansion's coming out that people paid full. I paid $25, and for $15 more, someone gets the whole game plus the DLC. It just.
And then that's the kicker. DLC didn't go on sale. You still had to buy the DLC full price, and people on the 27 get it for free, just because they happen to wait. It's just frustrating because, considering how games live and die by their first year's worth of sales of whether or not it was considered worth the money in the long run, the one thing you can give the early adopter at least is the advantage of enjoying it before you come out with your Ultimate Edition, if that even is a thing.
Usually, isn't that still a $60 game? like the Ultimate Game of the Year edition with all the DLC. Now you get all that for $60 instead of the base game for $60. I don't know that I pay enough attention.
I've seen them cheaper when they first come out, but like the example I gave, what it reminded me of what Capcom used to do in the PS3 360 gen with a lot of their games. The one I brought up was Marvel vs. Capcom 3, where they came out with the main game, and then 6 months later it came out with an Ultimate Edition of that game, and the shit didn't cross over. You didn't get any upgrade whatsoever, and hell, you lost DLC characters. Like, there were DLC characters that were locked out of the new version, and I was like, that is some scummy shit, and that's what it reminds me of. Not the exact same thing, but it's a similar premise, and I just think that's why I said, like, I understand you're angry about the free upgrade, and I think that's a fair thing to be angry about. But I feel like I think it's worse than that personally, but that's me.
What I think is like scandalous about this shit is when you have people like Juice who bought the game, and if you bought the DLC, you have the shit at full price, that they say to those people, you get the upgrade for free if you buy the new fancy edition, but by default, you're not getting it for free. You're buying the upgrade. It's like they're fucking you with the wording.
I think Juice also put it well.
Early adopters, not penalize them.
Yeah, you used to get pre-order bonuses.
Yeah, clocked it. You were clocked it
early, day one.
Go ahead, clocked it. Oh, sorry, T.
No, sorry, T's finishing.
No, I was just saying I got incentivized for buying stuff early, and then they dropped the price, and then it's like, oh, here's something for you guys who, in spite of everything else, bought this early.
I think I got a special costume for buying the season pass, but I'm sure that's in the Ultimate Edition too. There's probably more costumes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's but go ahead. I think Clocked, you were gonna say something.
Yes, no, I mean, I was only gonna just reiterate what Juice said in his stream, because I think that this is new to me. I don't think I've ever seen this before, where they would have had to have purposefully develop the coding into these new versions, or whatever, this upgrade system, whatever they're doing, to say, right, old version, you're not allowed an upgrade. New version.
Yeah, that's what you said in his stream. Yeah.
Yeah.
You are allowed to. They would have actually had to have done something to put that into their algorithms or whatever, to recognize.
You have to go out of your way to burn the early adopter.
Yeah. To say, right, they bought our game on launch, they're not allowed to have a free upgrade.
Well, I saw
new people. It's mental.
People in the comments were like, "Well, you don't get Ultimate Editions aren't free." Like they didn't understand what was happening here. Like, why would you get the PS5 and PS4 versions, or PS5 and Series X versions for free? In any other situation, I'm like, because they're giving it to people who are buying the PS4 and Xbox One versions on August 27th. It's still the PS4 and Xbox One version. It's not the PS5 and Series X version. It's the same game with the DLC on one disc, I imagine. Maybe, obviously, you have to install it.
I would assume, it's all included.
Maybe you have to download stuff, but it, like Clockter was saying, that was my point. They would have to actually go in and say, all right, block the upgrade to this guy here because he doesn't have the Ultimate Edition, but it's the same fucking game. It's not like the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition where they changed Laura's character model and all that. It's still the PS4 and Xbox One version of Control, and they haven't even announced when the actual upgrade will happen, because I know they said a while ago they were working on PS5 and Series X versions of Control. And I'm thinking, well, I figured the Ultimate Edition, in my mind, when they said that months ago, whatever it was, that maybe next year they'd come out with Control's Ultimate Edition, and it'd be in a PS5 box and a Series X box. Obviously, at that point, they're not expecting someone to buy Control for the PS4 and Xbox One because it's been available this whole time. So just put Control Ultimate Edition in a PS5 box and an Xbox Series X box, and that's a lot of box. And for $40, if you bought a PS5, you never played Control, okay, buy the Ultimate Edition, and you have a PS5 version of the game. But anyone who had it on PS4, should just get that version of the game. And maybe because what Microsoft's trying to do, if they hadn't done that, maybe I wouldn't be thinking like this. But it just feels like these systems, the same architectures, the first time we've ever had a generation from generation where it's the exact same architecture. There's nothing other than more powerful CPU and GPU. There's no reason, and they're backwards compatible. There's no reason. So I wonder if I got the PS5 on launch and put in my disc of Control, it's just going to play the PS4 Pro version. And then the people that have the Ultimate Edition, it's gonna play the PS5 version. Like, that don't make any sense on any level. There's no way. Like,
Dummy.
I can't even think what they were thinking in the boardroom or whoever came up with it. What was their?
I can tell you what they were thinking. I'm gonna buy a golden toilet for my office.
Do they think that? I wonder if they thought, well, maybe someone bought Control. We didn't buy the DLC yet, and we'll just get some more money out of them instead of the $25. We'll get them to buy this $40 version and then the selling point will be, well, you get a free upgrade. That's the only thing I can think the market they're trying to sell to. But
also, I forgot about the one I think Donnie mentioned. I forgot about the Final Fantasy 15 nonsense where, in the course of I think it was like a year and some change, they put out the original game in 2016, November 2016, and then came out early 2018 with the Royal Edition that included all the DLC. And I was like, damn, it hadn't even been I think it had been a little bit over a year, and you did the same fucking thing. And then Retro mentions Kingdom Hearts, which was its own.
Well, I think I don't have a problem with a complete edition.
Yeah,
a year or two later, you know.
My issue. It's ironically never goes back to what I was kind of
the timing of it.
Yeah, it's all the timing. Ultimate editions are cool. It's when you put them out. Most of the time, if you're gonna put out an Ultimate Edition, it's after the game has come out, after the DLC is released. You've given it room to breathe. Not this fucking, I released the game, the DLC comes out in 6 months, and then the fucking Ultimate Edition comes out in month 7 or 8. Like that, or maybe 2 or 3 months removed from the DLC. That, to me, that's bullshit. Don't.
The new reason that they do that now is because the game is underperforming, and they're trying to keep it in the market. People,
I'm thinking Control didn't really sell that well. I don't know the numbers.
Probably not. I mean, I remember, the way we found out about it was through the Game Awards, I believe, was the nominees.
Yeah, that's when I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that.
And I was like, what the fuck is this?
For me, I was gonna pick it up, but Astral Chain came out.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just about to say Persona 5
or 15.
Yeah, Royal.
Didn't sell that well, so they were doing these things to keep it.
But that's fine. But why penalize? The timing seems like Terrell said. But why penalize the people who already bought the game and say, no, you don't get this? It'd be like Nintendo releasing, let's say in 2021, Smash Brothers Ultimate Complete Edition with both fighter passes, but also 3 exclusive characters only available if you buy this Complete Edition.
Oh, that sounds like some Capcom.
That would be what's happening here with Control. Basically, there's content locked that you can't get because you bought the game in the fighting passes full price, and now for $60 you get this. Plus you get Gino, you get Waluigi, and Pyra or whatever, but only if you go out and rebuy this game for $60. Like that would be.
No, I mean, Nintendo this generation aren't too far off because.
Cut out.
Damn, right before the point hit.
Man.
Well, if he comes back, I'll stop talking. But I was gonna say, I was planning on buying Hyrule Warriors for the 3DS because I wanted all the shit. If I had, now I think the Switch port is one of the best ports there is. If I had bought that 3DS version on top of it, and then this would have come out, after I had bought that, I'd be fucking pissed because you only get they upped some of the enemies in the game and the visuals, but the only extra thing is the Breath of the Wild outfits and shit.
No, I can understand that.
It comes with all this shit, which becomes
Koei Tecmo's been relatively notorious about doing that.
But CK made a good. He says they're just trying to remarket the game to new consoles, so just put out in November have Control, like I said, PS5 and Series X boxes, buy the game. But if you already have the PS4 and Xbox One version, just put those in. The whole smart delivery thing on Xbox, like Microsoft should really be enforcing that a little bit harder.
Yeah,
Clocked it? Are you back?
Yeah, I'm not having much luck tonight.
No.
I don't know.
You were about to make a really good point. You left us hanging.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I can't even remember what I was saying.
You're talking about Nintendo.
You said Nintendo wasn't too far off.
Right. Yeah, they're not too far off to what they've done to us because, we upgraded from the Wii to the Wii U on some of our virtual console games, right? So their online library was there in terms of their digital games. Now, for some games, maybe with Mario Kart 8, it's a bit more difficult because they do change a lot to the game. They still add 2 items of stuff. They do change a few things. But with something like Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, we've got our digital. Some people have got their digital thing, or even our physical games. We got the points for them and stuff, right? So they know we bought that game either physical or digital. Now, if we were going to download that game again, they should know that we've had it. That this user with this email address has had it, and all they've done in Tropical Freeze was add Funky Kong mode. They've done nothing else. If they wanted to charge us just a little bit extra, right, to have Donkey Kong on your Switch with that funky mode, then fine. It's still not too far off in terms of them still recharging us full price next generation for a game that we essentially already own.
Yeah.
It's not too far off.
And Bayonetta 2 didn't add any content. It just improved the frame rate.
I half agree with that partially because part of it to me, like I said, part of it's the timing, and it at least had been a decent gap. But I do agree that there should have just been a small fee to upgrade from like Wii U to Switch. I agree with that. That's fine. I'm just saying I don't view it in the same tier because it wasn't like you burned your user within a year of buying the game. Like it wasn't like Donkey Kong came out like 2016 and then the port came out 2017 and then it's boom, $60.
Like I said, I do get that, but then at the same time we still have to take it by game basis.
Well, yeah, of course.
Something like Tropical Freeze, regardless of time period, it's still registered to us as a game that we have bought with Nintendo. They're re-releasing it, essentially changing hardly anything, but still charge us full price again. So
I mean, yeah, that's fair. Actually, they charge us more than full price considering the game was $50 on Wii U. No, yeah, I 100% agree. I still say Donkey Kong to me is the worst Switch port, just for the insanity behind it.
But I still say Bayonetta 2 has literally factually has the least amount added. Whether you think there's value in Funky Kong mode, but the least amount of work done was Bayonetta 2. I'll phrase it that way. All they did was just optimize. They left the same resolution, and you get 15 more frames per second on average. Like it just runs better. That's it. There's nothing new added. Whether it's in New Super Mario Brothers, you was saying. I mean, they gave you the 2 games, but they didn't add anything new. There's no new content.
I look at New Super Mario Brothers.
They added the Super Crown, yo.
Oh yeah, they did add the Super Crown. They added Peach Head.
With the Peach Head or something. No.
So the only way I would put, I agree that's. I mean, it's bullshit on a level, but the only way it would be the same for me as Control is if the Switch 2 comes out. And it's full backwards compatible, same everything. You just plug your cartridge in.
Still make ports.
And then they charge you for another version of let's say what's Animal Crossing New Horizons. You have to go out and spend $60 for Animal Crossing New Horizons for the Switch 2. That you can play it. You can play the backwards compatible version, but if you want this new improved version of Animal Crossing New Leaf, you have to rebuy it for the Switch 2. That would be kind of more in the same vein.
It's like when you brought your games over from your Wii to the Wii U, and if you wanted to have Miiverse functionality, you paid $1.50.
Yeah.
Like that'd be like, oh no, if you want to have Miiverse functionality, you got to buy the game all over again.
And I don't
think so.
I don't get this argument about Bayonetta was 2 games. It was always 2 games. It was 2 games on Wii U. It was 2 games for $60 on Wii U, and on Switch, the only difference is higher frames per second
Oh,
average.
and by the way, both of those games are on a physical medium.
Yeah.
When on
So I would say New Super Mario Brothers U. Yeah, they added the crown or whatever. Isn't that how you got
Yeah, the
Peachette,
Bowser.
I think.
Peachette.
It was called Peachette.
Yeah, the
And that's
Peachette,
what
and that's
about-
what turned into.
But
the
still,
Bowser.
I mean, that's superficial.
And the meme doesn't come with the game.
No,
though.
that was technically a new character. It was essentially you got Peach as a playable character without.
You got
actually calling her
you got
Peach.
to play as Peach for a short while, I think.
Yeah, it's still
No,
not.
it's,
That's
as long
not
as you
worse.
didn't get hit.
Here's I want to. I hope we can start thinking of this new content. I think I might have said it in my live stream, but instead of thinking about it as it's 2 games for 1. What did you get over the Wii U version? And is that new content worth $60 more for somebody who has the Wii U version? Is that new content like Hyrule Warriors? Is the 3DS content and whatever's added worth $60? Is Funky Kong worth $60 because you have to take it by himself because you already have the game for full price? Now, is this new content worth $60 by itself? Obviously, the answer is no. I don't think anybody's going to try to say yes. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, maybe you could say the battle mode, the new characters is the closest to being worth that additional $60. But that's how I've been viewing it. I just haven't really expressed it or verbalized it that way. That's when I look at these ports. That's how I've been looking at them. And it's just like, obviously none of them are worth another $60. Would they have been worth $30? There's a couple. I'm sure I would have picked up for $30. Maybe even 1 or 2 for $40. I don't know. Didn't get the chance. But so that's how I've been kind of viewing it.
The way I always, because I own Bayonetta on Switch. That was my Mario Kart. The way I always looked at it was, is it worth rebuying this game? I didn't pay $60, mind you. I got it on sale because I got it way later. Was the bump in frame rate to me a better sell versus an easy mode, which is what Donkey Kong was. Funky Kong isn't even a mode you need to play. Like, you could literally avoid it and it'd be the same fucking game. I looked at the improved frame rate as a better sell than an easy mode that I'm not gonna touch. Like,
wasn't that for? Because you keep saying the frame rate in Bayonetta for the Wii. Wasn't that like fucking 1 frame or some shit?
No,
it wasn't.
And
No,
Wii
you're
U,
talking Mario Kart.
on
Mario
Wii U,
Kart.
it averaged.
No, I'm thinking of Bayonetta.
Mario Kart, it was like 59, and then in the Switch version, it was 60.
But Switch, Wii U version of Bayonetta average about 40 frames per second.
Yeah.
Overall, on Switch, it's like 50 to 55.
Getting one thing about Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze, they actually charge you $10 more than the original.
Yeah.
Well, that's the reason why I say Donkey Kong is worse. Was inherently worse. I hate it. I hate that. The reason why in the 2 games argument, I guess the reason why it keeps getting brought up is because Donkey Kong had the option to make itself a better deal by packaging the first game with it. That would have made it a better sell. So, like,
well, yeah, I mean, getting anything
for every damn port.
You could say that for every port. Just throw in another additional game, yeah. But Bayonetta wasn't thrown in. The additional game was already there on the Wii U version.
But it's still the argument with Bayonetta was more so that you were still getting 2 games for $60, regardless. Like, that was the whole thing. But I understand your point as far as that it's the same thing as.
Damn, we're talking about ports again.
This is why
Well, that's the reason.
This is why. I was just gonna say. This is why I justified buying Hyrule Warriors to myself. I paid $35 for that brand new. That is less than I would have paid for the 3DS game at that time.
I don't remember.
Yeah, and I paid like with my Gamers Club, and I might have had a $5 coupon. So I used a $5 gift card that I would have used on something else for Mario Kart. But end result, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I think I paid 45, maybe 44. You know, still I could have used that discount and that $5 on a different game, and I regret buying it to the point where if I had Mario Kart 8 physically on Wii U, I would have sold the Switch version already. That's the only reason I still have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe.
You know Mario Kart 8 physically?
I bought Mario Kart 8 digitally on the Wii U. And
really? Okay.
It's the only way I mean, unless I found a Wii U copy for cheap, because I didn't look, but I'm guessing since Mario Kart's #1 selling game, it's always been 60. I could probably get at least the 45 I paid for it, if not 50 for a used copy, because games, I go to some of the stores and games aren't readily available right now. So I was kind of thinking about selling it, getting my money back, maybe even making a little bit of money, and then being like, well, I was one of those people, but at the same time, I got my money back. So I feel a little bit better about it.
Oh,
but,
it's 50 currently.
Speaking of you selling games, that what do you call it? The tracking number you gave me is not working.
Oh, really? Well, it didn't. They don't do a scan until about 6:30. When did you check it?
You've been scammed, son.
Right before I got on here, so it was probably a little before 6:30.
I'll have to double check it because let's see when. The first.
Do it now.
I'm just looking at the digits. I'm making sure it's got the right amount of digits, so I'll have to double check it. But
Now you brought it up.
Damn.
well,
son.
the UPS trackers, the first like 8 digits are the same every time if I ship it from work. So I could tell you the first like 7, 8 digits of a tracker number that left our building without having to look. So it's just the last 8 digits are the only thing that's different. So anyway, I do have one less GameCube game in my collection now, thanks to T.
Well,
R.I.P.
I don't have one more because it's just replacing.
And you know what, you said that you just needed the disc, and I didn't even think about it. I have a damaged case that for my Ocarina of Time GameCube edition, and I could have just cut the price down and gave you it in that case since you already have a case for it, and then I would have had a nice pristine case for my. But too late. I didn't think of it till as I already got I was already at work. So, but anyway, it's just one of those things, man. I'm a little worried about third parties and the bullshit they're gonna try. I do want to give props to the companies that are say, hey, free upgrade. Avengers looks like a boring ass game, but hey, you buy that now, you get the free upgrade to the PS5 or Series X version when those come out. I like hearing that, and I want to hear more of that, hopefully from better games. Cyberpunk did it, and I hope that becomes the standard and not the, well, you gotta buy this Ultimate Edition if you want to play it on PS5 with any. I mean, at the very least, you don't have to give me. I don't care about ray tracing and all that. The game should run at a solid frame rate on the PS5 if I put it in my PS4 version. Because right now, it's even on the Pro. There are times where you bring up the start menu, and it completely freezes for 5 seconds. It's like
Really?
Yeah, it's just one of those. You gotta unpause it, and if you move the camera right away, it's just smear of blurriness. You gotta wait about 2-3 seconds for it to load.
Vaseline on that bitch.
So it's just all around. It's just there's nothing. Even the Defendos, if this was a Nintendo, I don't know what they would how they'd try to defend it. Well,
I was looking in the comments for that, where for the control thing, and people were talking about, oh, you don't get every generation you have to buy a new game, or I'm like, how is this the same thing? I don't understand
It's the
Wait,
same.
you've actually seen people from Control defending that?
Yeah, go on the trailer.
Go in the comment section.
it had a decent amount of downvotes.
If you were calling them entitled people, they're saying entitled. These are entitled gamers. People are throwing that out way too.
And if they didn't,
nowadays, for some reason.
honestly, I was. Go ahead.
Blanket defense.
Sorry, all I was going to say was the only. The argument against that is that the fact that this game is still releasing, on the PlayStation 4.
Mm-hmm.
It's still Control, 2 versions of Control, exactly the same game on the same console, and they're saying one of them can be upgraded, and the other one can't.
Yeah.
There is no argument. It's just like, it'd be
It's
like if
also like a
Nintendo released
really-
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe now, just before the Switch 2 came out, and said, yeah, everyone who bought the second Mario Kart 8 Deluxe can now get that game upgraded, to the Switch 2 and stuff. It makes no difference what game it is. It's just the actual practice and the whole thing that they're doing is just nonsense.
You know what it feels like?
Batshit nonsense.
I'm just thinking about it. It feels like they're trying to sell the. They don't want to wait till the new consoles come out. Maybe they're trying to get some revenue boost, and they're like, we got the PS5 version done and working and stuff. And how can we get it out sooner? Well, we'll just sell it as an Ultimate Edition for PS4, and make it work. You know, basically the forward compatibility thing Xbox is talking about. It's like
Terrell went green for me. Is that just me?
Yeah,
What?
Must be that spaghetti.
Green?
Green too.
Must be mom's spaghetti.
Why?
Now
What
it's back
happened?
to normal.
He's
Your
looking a
whole
little
screen was just green.
greenish tint, but I think
Really?
it's always
For
been that
what?
way. I think it's just your camera. But let's see. And somebody said no port should ever be full price. Obi-Wan said that. I don't think it's not the same Obi-Wan. Obi-Wan Slam, not to be confused with OBE1. This is just OB1.
Oh, the Sony guy. The Sony guy.
Is he?
Yeah, the
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
everybody do the face.
Can't stand that guy, man.
So let's see. Lenny Wright, Bayonetta Wii U took the first game out and repackaged 2 alone for $30. Donkey Kong was player's choice at $20. Both got ported to Switch for $60. That's a good point. They did sell Bayonetta 2 by itself for $30.
Yeah, they did.
And but I think it was $50 on Switch if you just bought Bayonetta 2. I think digitally it was $50.
Yeah, it was.
So yeah,
But then but then you could buy Bayonetta 1
for 10, but
10.
still.
Yeah.
If you already had Bayonetta 1 on like PC or something, and you just want to buy Bayonetta 2, it's $50 on Switch, and it was $30 on Wii U. And it's probably removed from the eShop on Wii U. So it's just,
Wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, I know people have been griping about talking about ports again, and it wasn't the intention. We were just trying to compare the control situation, and it's just this generation,
You lost
man.
control. Ah!
And like I said to my Juice of Pennies, this is third parties. Sony and Microsoft barely put out last gen games. This Microsoft did what? Gears remastered, but it wasn't
The
full
Halo
price.
Master Chief.
The Halo Master Chief Collection, what, 5 games for $60, even though it was
Microsoft
broken.
could have used a few ports.
It was broken piece of shit when online was. And then Sony did God of War 3, Last
Rare
of Us.
Replay.
Oh, yeah, rare, but that's not the same. That's not a last
Rare
gen
Replay was
game.
amazing. Yeah,
Yeah.
but still, that was an amazing deal.
That's
though.
a
$30 for
package, yeah.
$30, and
That's the
can't
right
beat
way to
that.
do it. Sony put out
And it
God of
had-
War
and it had,
3.
like, things in it.
Yeah, that's not even in part of the I mean, that's so different. That's such a different thing, but that's like the extreme
It's too good to be
opposite.
honest.
Yeah, it's the extreme opposite.
It's like an amazing deal. This dude bought Rare Replay, played fucking Perfect Dog Zero.
Now it's on
Jesus
Game Pass.
Christ.
All those games separately are put on Game Pass to make the number look a little bigger because they're all 30 games are separately on Game Pass, and then you download it, and then it also downloads the Game Pass version. It's weird. I downloaded a few games and it was like doubled them up.
Their biggest trilogy on PS3, they gave it away for free on PS4.
Yeah, and initially I think it was $60 the Nathan Drake collection, maybe. I think we looked that up. It didn't stay 60 for very long. I think it was 40 for the majority of its life, and then they
most played.
eventually.
I don't think any of the PlayStation and Xbox games stayed 60 anymore.
But I mean, other than that, I mean, that's it. Everything else was third parties. You got the Saints Row games, you got Dark Souls, you got GTA 5, all the Resident Evil games again. Like, just about every PS3 and Xbox 360 game from third parties made an appearance on PS4, Xbox One, except some of the better ones. Like, I would have loved to see Dead Space, like some improvements to that game. They re-released that for $30, $20. I definitely would have bought it.
They didn't do that to Mass Effect.
No, but they did like BioShock collection. You had Borderlands, some collections here and there, but a lot of I bet if we just looked at a list of like 360 and PS3 games from third parties, and then
that'll happen again.
Look to see if they are PS4 or Xbox One versions. I think that's going to be like 50% of the third party games. It feels like, and but I feel like people hold Sony accountable for that a lot. I just seen it recently. Someone's like, man, Sony released a lot of ports. No one talks anything about something. I'm like, they didn't. themselves released a lot of ports. Yeah, they allowed developers, third-party developers, to do it, but why would they stop them from?
Yeah,
And it's a completely different architecture. That's like it wasn't just a quick. There's no backwards compatibility. You could blame Sony for that, but at the same time, it was just happening more and more. No one was really saying anything. It's just like, and then now
But the thing also with Sony is like it's different quality. I got fucking Shadow of the Colossus brand new for $20, and that has been basically remade almost more.
It was only 40 brand new. Day one, it was $40 for a full-on remake. Even Activision with the Crash Insane Trilogy, $40. The kart, what's the Crash? What was the kart one?
Oh, you're talking about Nitro Racing.
Nitro Kart.
That was $40. The Spiral Trilogy, $40. It's like that's some of the
completely remade.
That's fucking Activision. Those are fully remade games. 3 of them for $40. Like, that's the kind of stuff we usually.
The racing, they put the microtransactions.
Yeah, they did. They did fuck that, but you didn't. Honestly, the base
never win.
The base game for 40 was gave you a bunch of content though. It's like you didn't have to do the whole season stuff like it's like Fortnite or whatever. You didn't have to do any of that. You could play the base game. And there was plenty of content. So it's just weird.
Is it new Crash 60 or is it
Crash 4? I don't know. You could probably look it up.
Let's see. Crash.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was, but I also wouldn't be surprised if it was 40. But I kind of feel like
it's 60.
Is it 60?
Yeah, on Best Buy it's 60.
It's a new game, so I mean, it's not.
I'm fine with that, but I just feel like maybe Activision sees it as a smaller.
Yeah.
I think they probably did when they released the Insane Trilogy, and then they realized.
But they saw how much it sold.
Yeah, when they made the money, they were like, oh,
$20.
How that game was a direct result.
Do you think there'll be a PS5 version that comes out later that's you have to rebuy, or do you think they'll?
Activision's kind of weird, I guess. Sometimes it wouldn't surprise me if it was.
Never know with Activision.
And it's like
Activision's weird, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happened.
And the funny thing is, it's backwards compatibility is built into the chip on the PS5. Like, it's weird to have backwards compatibility and a full-on new version that's locked to having to rebuy the game. That's where it just really doesn't make sense.
Weird, funny.
It's like the Wii. The Wii was fully backwards compatible. Did Nintendo re-release any Wii games other than Wii Sports Club? Like on Wii U, they didn't re-release any Wii games.
Wii U games?
Yeah, because they had Wii backwards compatibility. I don't think they brought any Wii games into HD. And
no.
Princess.
U was the newer.
Well, no, that's
the Twilight Princess. Yeah, you're right. That's technically, but
that one's kind of like half and half.
It was Gamecube.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't think they've done it.
Saying they came out on Wii first.
That's true.
Oh, I forgot about that. Damn.
Yeah. You know what? What's funny is if they were gonna port on all these games, wouldn't it be like the console that's not selling as much? So you just kind of quickly start porting games so they could work on new ones. You would have thought it would have been that case.
You thought the Wii U would have got a bunch of ports.
The reality is that it's easy money in general. It's just easy money in general, and they were just like.
That's what I'm saying. You would have thought it would have been easy money. Just all right, let's bring a bunch of Wii games, to the Wii U.
But they just worked. They played on the Wii U, so it was weird. It would be weird. But anyway, I promise. I mean, we're not going to talk about ports next week for anybody.
I don't believe you. We don't fucking believe you.
No.
You can make us promises.
You fucking lie.
I just know that there's a lot of money being left on the table. All those 3D Zelda games they haven't ported yet.
You'll talk about it. Collection for Mario.
Yeah. When they announce another one, we'll talk about it again. So
that was made me so mad, man. Apart from fucking Skyward Sword, all those games have been ported already. It was the dumbest post I've ever seen.
So hopefully tomorrow we get Silk Song gets a stealth release after the indie showcase, Indie World. I'm gonna say it's not even gonna be in Silk Song. Won't even be in the Indie World. I'm gonna say that right now.
Shut up.
We won't see it again until
I'm gonna throw a casual prediction. It wouldn't surprise me if they put Fall Guys on the Switch, considering how much that game has blown up in the last
They probably won't be ready for
Just
6 months though if they haven't
I
started a
think for
port.
now they had to have some deal with Sony
Like-
still. I don't see they
No,
just
I don't-
launched on PlayStation. I don't see them already having the whole thing on Switch like calibrated.
No,
I'm
well,
just
I saw
saying
they-
it wouldn't be.
A heavy online game.
Yeah.
Yeah, but usually they're
Well, no.
pretty good about the smaller games showing up on the console.
Fortnite's on Switch.
Well, it could
Fortnite's
have
on
it
Switch.
could probably have native voice
And,
chat,
and hell, Overwatch. is
and they'll
on
probably
there.
use the invite system where you can check invites.
I think third parties are gonna destroy the online when it comes to the Switch compared to Nintendo. They always do it. You know,
That's true.
Fortnite, all those.
They always
Yeah, Fortnite, Minecraft.
Rocket League.
Also the thing is, they did say the Fall Guys. They had things like a question is like, will you put it on other platforms? It's like we would like to, but we'd like to hear what other platforms you'd like. It's like, dude,
I
there's
hate
only
when,
two.
I hate
of
when
them.
motherfuckers say
There's
that
only
shit.
2 more.
Like you don't know. Like bitch, you don't know.
Can you imagine fucking
Which
an
one?
animal like a Tom
I
Duke
want
costume
I want
shit?
it on Stadia.
All right, one at a time. One at a time. 3 people were talking.
Put it on Stadia, guys.
we just woke up. We just started programming games yesterday. We don't know if that's available.
You know, it is sad though to think about the third parties doing online better, and you know what was that game that came out and used the invite system? Is that one that's on PC? It's a cross-play one, cross-save.
Oh, it's is that Dota or not? No,
Not
no,
Dota,
it's,
but you're close.
fuck. What is it?
You talking about Diablo?
Yeah.
No, no, it's
What is Diablo?
it's the one they just announced with early this year that it had cross-save
It was like-
progression.
Oh, wait. I can just look up game explain videos. That make it easy.
Yeah, because the British guy did the video on that one about the cross saves.
Yes, cross saves.
Oh, it's fucking. Where is it?
It's a top-down
Nintendo.
kind of asymmetric.
Yeah, I saw it.
Divinity.
Oh,
Yeah,
Oh, it's a
Divinity.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, that one
Yeah.
uses the invite system where you can check your. That's the only game right now that I think uses it, and I think Fall
And it was
Guys would probably
relatively-
use it.
Yeah, it was like relatively soon after the fucking thing came out. Like after the Switch had its update.
And
it was
Rocket
like,
League's
maybe-
about to add cross progression, cross-platform progression. So you sign in your Epic and you tie all your different systems together, and you have cross progression on Rocket League. So that's going to be awesome.
Moves, yo. Make moves.
So anyway, good podcast. We had some technical difficulties. Discord's definitely been acting up because I think T got out of sync there for a little bit. Terrell was freezing for a little bit. Retro Death went 8-bit on us. It's been a hell of a night. It's been just 2020 summed up in a 2-hour podcast with all these technical difficulties. And so anyway, appreciate everybody for tuning in. And
You're welcome.
I got to do something extra this time to end the stream. Nice.
What the fuck was? What
That's
the
his
fuck?
control reference somehow.
Yeah.
So fucking subtle.
These fucking clowns.
I still looks like a
Yeah.
cordless phone from a distance. But anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in, and we'll be back next week.
Like